underneath the thing.
I don't care, because
Yes.
we've had it for 6 years and we haven't ran it yet.
And that is good. See?
We have to leave.
This story isn't just a small discovery. It's a blast that will shake the entire Beats empire. Because what Kevin Beats discovered in his latest survey wasn't a random anomaly, but a 100-foot-long secret tunnel with density readings 7.8 times higher than normal soil. This is the same signal found in old sealed vaults. And the most surprising thing? Tony Beats had conducted 47 digs at the same spot over the past 10 years, but no one had spotted this tunnel. The day was going on normally, but the ground scanner suddenly showed 32,000 metal pulse spikes. Such high readings are only found when bulk metal storage is hidden beneath. Kevin scanned again. The numbers jumped to 40,000. The crew's faces froze. This isn't natural. There's something huge down there, Kevin said. When Kevin opened the shaft, he found a passage with walls as smooth as laser cut, human-made, not with modern tools. Once inside, the air temperature dropped by 11 degrees, and the moisture level machine recorded 91%, the exact same pattern found in ancient treasure vaults. The biggest shock? Inside, the sonar detected a massive object, a 27-foot-long metallic chamber whose weight index showed a density equivalent to approximately 80 kilometers in gold. This wasn't a small motor part or scrap. It read like an entire gold stockpile. When Tony learned that Kevin had claimed this find first, the entire Beats camp exploded. Mining board records show that if this tunnel turns out to be of historical origin, the gold will officially be considered a finder's claim, a victory for Kevin and a major defeat for Tony. What was really inside? Who built this tunnel? And why was it hidden for so many years? Be sure to watch the video to the end to learn the full truth. And yes, subscribe, because what's about to be revealed in the next update will change the entire story of the gold rush. A normal day at a mining site that wasn't normal. That day, the Beats site near Parker Creek was quiet and normal. The machines hummed with their steady hum, the crew was busy with their work, and the weather was perfect for mining. Everyone thought it was just another routine digging day. Nothing special, no tension, no wasted time. Kevin himself was checking the readings with his clipboard, as he did every day. But he had no idea that in the next few minutes, the ground would literally shake beneath his feet. Around 1:45 p.m., the excavator lifted a heavy chunk, and as the bucket hit the ground, a slight vibration spread throughout the site. The crew initially mistook it for a usual kickback from the machine, as such small jolts are common in mining. But Kevin immediately noticed that this vibration was not normal. It was coming from somewhere deep within the ground, as if a large empty space had suddenly reacted. He picked up the scanner and thought he'd do a little checking, but the reading made his face turn serious. As Kevin moved the scanner over the patch of ground, the machine blinked AI, red light 3 times signifying something beneath, and a large one at that. The crew members looked around in curiosity, but no one knew exactly what had happened. Kevin took another reading, and this time the vibration felt stronger, as if the ground was breathing. It was an effect no one at the Beats site had ever felt before. Tony wasn't present, but a discussion among the crew began with his name. If Tony were here, he would have replaced half the machine by now. By now, a strange tension had spread across the site. The air felt heavier. The crew's voices grew quieter, and everyone was wondering the same question. Is there a large cavity beneath? Kevin tried to remain calm, but excitement was evident in his eyes. In mining, such readings only appear when there's an old tunnel, a hidden shaft, or something hidden beneath that hasn't been touched in years. And this thought filled the entire team with a profound curiosity. In just a few minutes, the entire atmosphere had changed. What had started as a normal day had now become the beginning of a mysterious discovery. Kevin was convinced that something would be found today that would change the entire story of the gold rush. First anomaly. 32,000 metal spike reading. As soon as Kevin set the scanner on that spot in the ground, the machine started making a strange, high-pitched beeping sound. At first, he thought the device had a glitch, because such a loud response wouldn't occur in normal soil. But the number that blinked on the screen the next second, 32,187 metal spikes, stunned Kevin. This reading would never come from a random pipe scrap or metallic junk. Crew members immediately circled around him, curiosity and confusion evident on everyone's faces. One worker asked, "Boss, what does such a high reading mean?" Kevin stared at the screen in silence for a few seconds and said, "There's something big down there, and it can't be natural." His tone was both excited and fearful. Such spike readings are often found in mining when a sealed vault or old metallic chamber is hidden beneath. The reading continued beeping, and with each beep, the crew's tension grew. The scanner's dial was so unstable that the needle repeatedly jumped to its limit. This was a clear sign of an abnormal metallic mass beneath the ground. Kevin immediately ordered the crew to retreat so he could pinpoint the exact location. But signals coming from all directions made things increasingly suspicious. Within minutes, everyone realized this was no ordinary signal. There was something beneath that had remained untouched for years, and perhaps even Tony's dozens of digs hadn't detected it. The air at the site felt heavy, as if the ground itself was holding a secret. This moment marked the beginning of a complete discovery, and Kevin knew something big was ahead. Kevin's rescan test. When the numbers crossed 40,000, Kevin thought the initial reading might have been due to oversensitivity, so he rebooted the scanner and performed a fresh scan. But this time, the machine delivered a shock. The numbers on the screen jumped to 4,302 spikes. The crew couldn't figure out whether it was a machine malfunction or if there really was a massive metallic structure hidden beneath. Kevin took a deep breath and said, "Guys, this isn't normal. This is something huge." The next test he performed was with a density meter, which measures the solidity of the ground. Normal soil's density is within a fixed range, but here the meter recorded a density 7.8x higher, meaning there was something beneath whose thickness and weight were many times greater than the natural formation. This data was so strange that the crew members stepped back and looked at each other. Such density is only found in heavy vaults or ancient metal storage. Next, Kevin performed a light tap test with a ground hammer, a method that determines whether the ground is solid or hollow. Upon tapping the point, a deep hollow echo came from within, as if there was a large, empty chamber beneath. The crew fell silent. This wasn't the sound of a natural cave. It sounded like an engineered cavity, as if someone had designed and sealed it many years ago. Finally, Kevin performed a depth line laser test. This test measures the straightness of vertical depth. Normally, a line in the ground wobbles, but here the laser was going razor straight, a clear signal that a perfectly shaped, human-made structure lay beneath. Kevin said in a trembling voice, "If this is the vault, it will be the biggest discovery of the decade." No one was joking around on site anymore. The crew was shocked, Kevin was speechless, and the biggest question hung in the air. The secret of Tony Beats's 47 failed digs, approximately 300 words. Tony Beats had excavated almost everywhere on this claim over the past 10-12 years. Official digging files show that in the same exact zone, where Kevin now found the anomaly, Tony had made 47 attempts, but each time either the ground collapsed, a machine error occurred, or the readings were so weak that Tony called it a dead spot and abandoned it. The crew always joked that this place is Tony's bad luck zone. As Kevin matched the anomaly's location to the files, his face changed color. He understood why Tony had avoided this area so much. It looked normal from above, but something was definitely wrong underneath. Kevin told the crew that Tony considered this spot risky because there had been reports of vibrations and unstable soil. But Kevin's gut feeling said something else. Risky things are often the most interesting. Family tensions were bound to arise. Over the past few years, Kevin and Tony had been increasingly clashing over mining decisions. Tony believed that experience was the best teacher, while Kevin believed that modern machines and data always spoke more truthfully. This was why Kevin decided to rescan the spot, because the machine data was completely contrary to Tony's previous judgment. Whispers had already begun among the crew. If Kevin turns out to be right, Tony's entire map will be proven wrong. This news spread like a silent storm within the Beats family, and Kevin knew if he uncovered something significant here, it would become not just a discovery, but Tony's biggest mining defeat. Shaft opening operation, danger level max. After the anomaly was confirmed, the biggest question was, could we get down? But it wasn't easy. The upper layer of ground was weak, Hollow echoes were visible below, and the risk of collapse was very high. The safety officer had already warned that one wrong move could endanger the entire site. Fear was evident on the crew's faces, but curiosity was equally strong. Kevin decided the shaft had to be opened, but carefully. First, they set a perimeter, then installed heavy beams so that even if something broke below, the weight wouldn't fall back. The machines began scraping downward step by step. Each time the bucket hit the ground, a deep vibration rose from below, as if the ground itself was issuing a warning. Be careful. Safety alarms sounded twice throughout the site. Once the soil shifted, the second time a large chunk suddenly fell. The crew panicked, and some workers retreated, but Kevin remained calm and gave everyone instructions. His voice was steady. "We're very close, just the last 6 feet." Finally, when the bottom of the shaft cleared, a dark, perfectly carved entrance was visible, so smooth that natural erosion could never have formed it. The entrance was so black that no one could guess what lay inside. The air was cold, and it had a metallic smell, the same characteristic found in old sealed chambers. The crew fell silent. Some workers took out their phones, others turned on their helmet lights. Kevin bent down, felt the edges of the entrance, and said, "Guys, someone thoughtfully built this tunnel. This isn't an accident, it's design." That was the moment that took the whole story to a new level. Now, this wasn't just an anomaly, it was a secret human-made tunnel, buried for years and exposed for the first time today. Inside the tunnel, 11°C temperature drop and 91% moisture. As Kevin shone his helmet light into the tunnel, he first felt a chill, so cold that his breath came out as a light fog. The surface temperature was around 20°C, but the meter inside the tunnel read 11°C. This sudden drop is rare in a natural cave, but it's a common signature in older sealed vaults. The shock was evident on the crew's faces. The walls were laser smooth, as if they had been machined, but the pattern looked as if the work had been done decades ago. There was no natural roughness in the soil or stone. A steady moisture layer was also visible throughout, and the humidity meter read 91%, which is typical of sealed underground chambers, where air remains trapped for years. This clue alone was enough to indicate that the tunnel had been untouched for a very long time. Some old wooden support beams were also found in the tunnel, half rotted, but their placement was very strategic. This was a clear indication that this passage was human-made, and the construction was done by someone who understood underground engineering well. There was also a metallic heaviness in the air, the same smell that is found around a gold vault, as pure metal environments emit a distinctive odor with humidity. The markings were also strange. Some symbols on the walls appeared to be hurriedly drawn. There were no exact shapes, but they looked like directional arrows. Kevin carefully turned the flashlight and said, "Guys, this isn't just a tunnel. It's some kind of route, and there's been an attempt to conceal it." This was the moment the crew first realized that something big was beneath. Very big. Unnatural engineering mystery. Now the real question was, who built such a perfect, clean-cut tunnel? Theories began to circulate among the crew. The name of old miners was the first to come up, but Kevin immediately rejected this possibility. He said, miners of the 1900s simply didn't have such precision-cutting tools. The laser-smooth walls and perfect alignment looked like those of a modern engineer, but the metal readings pointed to a much older material. This contradiction itself hinted at a larger mystery. The second theory was smugglers. Was this tunnel part of a hidden gold route? Canadian smuggling history mentions underground passages, but such perfect measurements are rare. Smugglers usually built rough tunnels with uneven walls and quick exit points. Here the walls were perfectly symmetrical, as if someone had worked from a blueprint. The third and most scary theory, was this the work of a secret organization? Some of the markings were cryptic, the beams were pre-measured, and the tunnel extended in a specific direction. Such patterns are often found in old European vaults or ancient storage chambers. Kevin raised the question of whether this was the work of a group with a deep history in mining or treasure storage. And then came the most unsettling possibility. Could this tunnel be even older? How could such perfect construction have been possible without modern machinery? Did someone develop this claim decades or centuries ago? And if so, then the gold buried beneath might not be the work of a modern miner, but of an ancient civilization or hidden network. The crew fell silent because the possibilities were both dangerous and priceless. Kevin uttered a line that froze everyone. Whoever built this tunnel had both knowledge and reason, and that reason was about to become the Beats family's biggest discovery today. Sonar shock, 27-foot metallic chamber. Detect Kevin set up a sonar device in the deepest part of the tunnel to get an accurate map of the massive structure hidden inside. As the machine began scanning, a strange shape appeared on the screen, first blurred, then gradually a clear outline. The entire crew leaned toward it, as if watching the climax of a movie live. And the next second, as the full scan completed, a massive 27-foot-long metallic chamber appeared on the screen. This wasn't a small box or a random scrap. It was a complete, sealed vault-like structure. Its walls appeared thick, solid, and symmetrical. The chamber's depth and width were so perfect that anyone could tell it wasn't just storage. It was planned construction. The machine also performed a side-angle scan, and the signal was the same in every direction, a heavy, cold metal mass. The biggest shock came when Kevin calculated the weight index. The reading the machine gave was absolutely unbelievable. The metallic density reading was approximately equal to that of a gold mass in the 85 range. No one on the crew was speechless. Some workers literally stepped back, as if they couldn't believe that so much gold was buried beneath their feet. Kevin said in a trembling voice, "Guys, this chamber isn't empty. There's something very heavy inside." The lights were dimmed, and only breathing could be heard in the tunnel. Some workers' faces were pale, and others' eyes were shining with excitement. This was the first time everyone realized this tunnel wasn't just hiding history, it was hiding a fortune. Kevin versus Tony, the biggest blast. When Kevin kept the sonar data to himself and didn't immediately inform anyone on site, tension began to build. Kevin wanted to confirm it personally first, as such a major discovery could completely shake family dynamics. But as word began to spread among the crew, it reached Tony. And then came the Beats family's biggest explosion. Tony arrived at the site furious, straight to Kevin, and yelled, "Why didn't you tell me sooner?" Kevin remained calm, saying he wanted to verify the readings first. But Tony felt it was a power grab, a way to hide the discovery from his own father. The crew silently watched the tension grow as Tony rarely got so heated. The matter escalated to a rights issue. If the tunnel turned out to be historical, the finder's claim would go directly to Kevin, not Tony. And if it turned out to be part of an active mining zone, Tony would become the legal owner. This confusion was only fueling the situation. Kevin repeatedly insisted that facts come from machines, not ego. And Tony repeatedly repeated, "This is my land." Tony demanded that the cameras be turned off because he didn't want the fight recorded on TV or in crew video logs. The moment was so intense that some workers turned off their helmet cameras, others retreated. The pressure of the gold inside the tunnel and family tension simultaneously made the air heavy. Finally, Kevin uttered the line that shocked everyone. "Dad, if you didn't find it after digging 47 times, maybe it was my destiny." Tony remained silent for a few seconds, and this silence was nothing short of explosive. Beats' family tension had reached its peak, and what was about to happen was going to be not just a gold discovery, but a father-son showdown. Legal twist: finder's claim versus owner's rights. After the sonar data surfaced, the biggest question arose. Who owns the vault? According to mining laws, two things matter. Who owns the land and who made the first discovery? Tony holds ownership of the entire claim, so he legally has surface rights. However, in the case of an underground hidden structure, the finder's claim rule applies, under which the first person to discover an unknown structure or underground treasure can become the primary claimant. Kevin's case was further strengthened because his scan and readings were documented. Date, time, and device logs were all recorded. He was officially the first locator of the tunnel. If this site were to be historically designated, that is, proven to be an ancient engineered vault, then according to government mining law, the finder's rights come first and the landowners later. Tony was furious upon hearing this, as it meant Kevin could legally claim the entire discovery. The crew also became divided, some with Tony because he's the king of the North, and some with Kevin because he discovered this hidden vault using modern technology. Legal experts also confirmed that if gold was found and the vault proved ancient, it could go directly to Kevin's claim. This possibility posed a direct threat to Tony's entire empire, because this discovery was becoming the most valuable find in Gold Rush history. Tony said bluntly, "I'm not giving this up without a fight." And Kevin said in a calm tone, "Dad, the facts tell the machines, not feelings." This moment transformed the father-son clash into a legal battlefield. The final vault door, first glimpse of the metallic gate. Legal tension was mounting, but the tunnel exploration didn't stop there. The crew had reached a deeper section, and sonic mapping was now revealing the exact gate location. Kevin set up his helmet light, and as he stepped forward, the tunnel walls suddenly began to narrow. The air grew colder, and the metallic smell intensified. This was a clear sign that they were very close to the vault. A few feet ahead, Kevin's flashlight fell on a massive metallic wall. This wasn't a simple gate. It was a thick chamber boundary, about 10 to 12 inches thick. It had strange, uneven locking marks, as if someone had sealed it in multiple layers. There were also faint hammer dents on the wall, as if someone had tried to open it, and then given up midway. Kevin placed his hand and felt the surface. The metal was surprisingly cold, as if it hadn't seen sunlight in decades. The crew installed a portable audio sensor, and as the device tapped the gate, a deep, hollow echo came from inside. It was the exact sound that indicates large metal storage behind sealed vaults. Some workers came forward in excitement. Others retreated in fear. As Kevin struck the tool on the lower edge of the gate, a faint cracking sound came from inside, a sound that made everyone freeze. All the lights flickered for a second at this moment, and the entire tunnel fell dead silent. The crew looked at each other and no one uttered a sound. Everyone thought, the vault is about to open. A moment like never before in Gold Rush history, and Kevin knew the opening of this gate would not only reveal gold, but also change the fortunes of the entire Beats family. As Kevin tapped the lower corner of the vault wall for a second, the entire tunnel trembled slightly for a moment. Helmet lights suddenly flickered, as if there were some invisible vibration inside. The crew instantly became tense, because such light fluctuations only occur when a large hollow space underground suddenly releases pressure. Kevin looked back, but no one had an answer. The next second, a deep metallic ring was heard from inside the vault, so heavy and sharp that it sent shivers down every worker's spine. The sound was like a huge metal plate slowly shifting. Crew members looked at each other, and someone whispered, "Guys, it's something moved inside." Kevin, too, was completely frozen, because the signal was clear. Something had awakened or stirred inside the vault. And then suddenly, the lights in the entire tunnel went off simultaneously. Absolute blackout. Only the sound of people's heavy breathing and the deep silence of the tunnel remained. The sound of a worker's flashlight falling was heard, and someone panicked. Did the vault open or collapse? But no one could confirm what had just happened. Did the vault crack or was something else activated? A few seconds later, the emergency light blinked, and Kevin softly said, "If this vault is opening, then there might not be gold inside, but something much bigger." Hearing this line, both the crew and the audience were left with the same question in mind. What exactly is inside the vault? If you really want to know what the next twist is, what was revealed in the vault, and how it affected the Beats family, then be sure to subscribe, because the next episode is going to reveal the truth that Gold Rush never showed.